Testing, 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 testing.
Hello everybody and welcome to the 2021 Three Rivers Karting Playoff Competition. This is of course part of the American E-Kart Championship sponsored by Monster Energy. Thank you everybody. Welcome back to Three Rivers. This is on a little bit of a new channel here, the Competitive Edge channel. And so basically right now we are getting the first players, or the first drivers in for the first round. So I will get those drivers in a second for you, but let me just explain a few things to you. First of all, I am in the commentator's booth with Brandon here. Say hello.
How you doing, everybody? Looking forward tonight. We got some hungry racers. It's going to be a good show. Excited to be with you, Ryan.
I'm excited to be with you too. Nice to meet you. And it's always great to have a second person in the commentator's booth with me. So, the way that playoffs work is it's a little bit different than what you would normally see in a league race or for any American E-Kart Championship. What we do here is we have a knockout tournament bracket. We have 20 racers. Well, today we have 17 because of some people who could not make it for a few reasons. So, the way we do it is we bring 4 karters out onto the track, and they will all compete for average lap times. It's the average lap times that really, really matter. You could have the greatest lap ever, set a lap record, but then 5 laps are complete garbage. And then your average is just complete garbage. Then you're going to lose to your competitor if they're more consistent. So consistency really, really matters here. So we're going to send out 4 karters at the same time, but then we're going to have a 2v2 bracket. So you're really only versing the person you're against in the bracket. Then what it is after they do the first 4-minute race, they will then switch their karts. So there is no disparity between the karts at all. And they will then do another 4-minute race. After that, they take the average lap times of both, put them together, and whoever is faster will move on in the tournament. So we are getting our first 3 racers out at the moment. Our first racer out is Knight. Knight in kart number 8, kart number 16, Brandon, Mr. BT Clutch. he is going to be out. In cart number 16, we have onboard footage of him, luckily. And in cart number 1, we have Baker. So the two people that are actually going against each other, I will get for you in just a second. So the two people going against each other is Knight and BT Clutch. Baker is just getting some free practice in right now. He's not versing anybody. So right now we have our 3 drivers out on this brand new lap, track 1 layout. And of course that final corner was just now taken out. So now that final corner is flat out, and we don't really have to worry about too much. Anything you want to add to this, Brandon?
No, just these guys out on the track earlier, Ryan, you being a racer, is this an advantage for them versus someone like you that has to wait till later, getting some laps in?
Well, it's definitely an advantage because they do get a first round. They get another practice. Me, who is in the second round, I do not get the luxury of having that practice. So unfortunately, I will not get as good of practice as they do, but I will get a better track because they're going to be warming it up. And of course, right now we do have track temperature. It is a cool 81 degrees at the moment to start off, and that will just keep climbing and climbing throughout the night as carts keep going through that turn 1. That's where we are keeping track of the temperature. So right now, Knight has the fastest lap time at a 17.8, and just as I say that, BT Clutch goes just a little bit faster at a 17.781, and Knight is in last right now at a 17.8, but once again, it's all about that average lap time. That is the one that really, really matters. Unfortunately, it just went away for me because it is showing what is coming up, which will be Bottas and Ice Cold in the coming up rental event, so I can't wait to see that one. Coming back up right now, the best average is actually by Baker, who now has the fastest lap at a 17.736. Once again, it's only Knight and BT Clutch going up against each other. BT Clutch has over a 1/10 of a second on Knight in terms of their average lap times, but what if there was just one that's got thrown out? We'll have to see exactly what's going to happen in the rest of this league. So we'll take you through a lap as we are now on board with, who is that? BT Clutch is now finishing out his lap. And now this is the new corner, flat out through this corner, and now he's gonna brake nice and hard into the first corner. A little bit of a double apex as he hits there. Hitting this is flat out, a bit of a lift going down into the teardrop turn 3, then it's flat out all the way to the new revised hairpin, double apex once again, and swing it right back left to finish your hopefully perfect lap as he sets a 17.717, which is his fastest lap. Baker is exactly 1/10 faster at a 17.617. Quite impressive lap times for only this first race for these drivers. They are really switching it up there. And BT Clutch now has the fastest lap of the race at a 17.551. This really does matter because this is really going to get the edge over Knight to try to get that fastest average. But who knows, this might just be a kart disparity. Whenever they switch karts, it's still a whole nother ball game. So from Luke in the chat, Renegade is slow. We'll have to see once he actually goes right out on the track. 40 seconds remaining in this first round of the playoffs. BT Clutch is still ahead of Knight, and that is the really only competition as Baker is just getting some more practice laps in. The white flag is now being waved for Knight, who is now on, of course, that means it is their final lap until they have to go back into the pits, switch the karts after they've been charged up, and then go right back out. So I don't exactly know if it's really going to be, if they're going to do another race in different karts. Yes, that is actually what they're doing, as Kyle and, who is that, Alex. Kyle and Alex are now in karts 11 and 12. Kyle is in kart 12, Alex in kart 11. And of course they do have to charge up those karts, so you may as well just do another race while you're at it.
pretty impressive too, if I might add, Ryan. Everyone's best time was within a tenth of each other, so pretty good competition to start us off.
It is, of course, always great competition here at Three Rivers Karting. If you guys have not been down here yet, please come on down. It is in Leetsdale, Pennsylvania. They are doing something a little strange with the pit entrance as they are taking out the barrier. So hopefully nobody runs wide and goes into the pits by accident. That would be bad. But they took out the pit entrance barrier. Quite an interesting decision by the stewards out on the track.
I understand too, Ryan, this is a little different layout. They made some changes. Can you speak on that?
So yes, they have made a few changes in the past few races as they are now taking a track temperature reading. It is now 83 degrees Fahrenheit out there on the track. Of course, it does start warming up, and that was being taken in the braking zone as now the drivers are going out on the track. But as I was saying, they did make a few changes to this track. It does change a few times per year, mainly for the league racers. But right now we are on track layout 1. This is a bit of a different track layout 1, especially for the double hairpin. They have made it a little bit safer. The hairpin, which was used to be a late apex, is now a double apex. So you hit it right on the front and then you hit it right on the exit. Or you could take a different line. You could elect to take a different line and maybe even just hit the exit as some drivers elect to do. But the really big change is that final corner. We used to go around a pole, which then you would have to flick your steering wheel right and then go left. Now it is a flat out corner, and that is going to stay for the remainder of this track life. And it appears we have a glitch out on the timing screen that Kyle is not, oh there, no, that is Bottas. I thought that was Kyle. That is Bottas and Ice Cold. I apologize for everybody out there. Kyle is actually up here with me. Bottas is out on the track with them. Alex and Bottas. So Bottas is in 12. Those helmets look a little bit similar, but of course Kyle does have that orange visor on. So right now Ice Cold is a 17.7 and Bottas has an 18.9 fastest lap. Bottas does not have a whole lot of experience on this track. He was normally in the C heat, unfortunately, but he did improve quite a lot during the, I believe it was the fall league that he was competing in a lot, and he was in C, but he made his way a little bit up sometimes whenever he would set some faster lap times. But Ice Cold is just a little bit more of an experienced racer than Bottas, and they are both competing against each other, so I believe it is fairly safe to say Alex is going to win this bracket here. So moving on, let's see what this bracket is going to look like. So at the moment, it's going to be BT Clutch beating out Knight. As long as Knight doesn't set some extremely fast lap times during the kart swap, it will be BT Clutch winning round 1 out of that bracket. Then Baker is going to move on from that. So the bracket is going to be Wags, who is your 2020 American E-Kart champion, who is going to Jacksonville, Florida, guaranteed for this year. Of course, it got canceled last year, but it is going to be Wags going up against Knight. Wags is the #1 seed. After that, it's going to be Baker against Matt, who is the #3 seed. So just to repeat that once again, it's going to be Wags and Knight, Renegade and Baker. Or sorry, Wags and BT Clutch, Renegade and Baker. At the current moment, we still have to run another race. After that, we do have another race, which I believe is going to be, I'm not sure how they're going to run it this year, but luckily for Kyle, who is our #4 seed, he does not have anybody to race against in his round 2, so he automatically is going to move on to round 3 as they are now taking the white flag, as that is Bottas taking the white flag actually, and Alex is coming through the final corner now. And he is going to be your average winner for this bracket, Alex Ice Cold 160. So right now, as I said before, come down to Three Rivers Karting if you really need something to do. Of course, a lot of people are trying to find a job, so Three Rivers Karting is now hiring. We are offering full-time positions and part-time positions. Just go ahead, give us a call, or come down to Three Rivers Karting and talk to us, and maybe you could find yourself an exciting job here at Three Rivers Karting, and you could be a steward on the side, watching the general public do arrive and drive races and league races as well. It is quite exciting. So the coming up race is going to be the rerun of Knight, BT Clutch, and Baker going head to head. It's going to be Knight in kart 22, BT Clutch in kart number 1, and Baker in 16. That is the onboard kart. So Baker is going to get an onboard for this run.
So what are you thinking what we're seeing so far, Ryan? Some impressive times.
So far we are seeing some impressive times, but unfortunately not too close of racing yet, but that will come later on in the day. So as we are waiting for these carts to charge, of course it will take a little bit longer for them to charge than whenever they are going to be out on the track. So they're just gonna top up the carts now, and we will see in a second. Maybe we can get another track temperature reading out. Maybe in a different spot as well. Just give us 2 seconds, and we will be right back with some more.
Guys, our friends at Overdrive Indoor Karting in Colorado Springs, they think they're cute by doing these trick shots. So, you know, James, I see you, buddy. That beautiful, magnificent, blonde, perfectly manicured hair of yours. We're going to challenge you to a trick shot little battle. So, do you accept our challenge? Who wants to go first?
Thank you guys for patiently waiting, and we are back. Just wanted to shout out Matt Pickle for saying hi to me on the during the commercial break. Of course, he is sitting right next to me, but you know, he had to chat. He always has to chat. The karters are now getting back in their karts after the little bit of a charging break. Knight is in kart number 22 with BT Clutch in kart number 1, and Baker with the onboard video kart number 16. Cannot wait for these drivers to go right back out on the track, and we will have to just see what kind of lap times they can run. We are now in caution speed 1. Lights are flashing. Daryl getting into a kart. Hopefully he's not racing. He doesn't have a helmet on. And we're gonna just bring out Baker, kart number 16, and now BT Clutch, kart number 1. Of course, now we're gonna have to space out all of our competitors here. And there they go, going off onto speed 4, all 3 racers. And hopefully we will see some close times here. So I don't believe they've started the time yet. But we'll see. Waiting for the first lap. So we are waiting for the first people to come across the timing strip. and who is it gonna be? Nobody yet. So green flag, waiting for these times to come in. Don't do me like this. But in the meantime, we're gonna be on board with Baker. And there we go, our first lap time is in. It is Knight with a 17.839 already in the 17s. And that is BT Clutch just slightly behind, 17.847. Maybe this is Knight getting a little bit of a comeback here. Let's see, Knight 17.692. Maybe it was the kart. Let's see, BT Clutch, can he respond? BT Clutch does not respond, goes a little bit slower. Knight is having quite a bit of a better average right now, 17.765 versus 17.801. Unfortunately, we cannot show this for you on the website there because the website will not show up. Baker with the fastest lap now, 17.637. BT Clutch, 17.604, trying to bring down that average. It is now faster than Knight. Let's see, can Knight respond? She had a little bit of a bad lap there. Maybe that's a bit of a scrap lap. Oh, it's a little bit slower once again, 17.883. Very unfortunate. She had a very, very good start there. And that is BT Clutch, once again answering Knight with a 17.15 average lap time right now. 17.656, trying to bring down that average as much as possible. Knight still is not improving, 17.777. So BT Clutch was another fastest lap, now into 17.578 with 2 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in this karting race. So of course right now we are on board with Baker. Let's go through a little bit of a lap with him. Never mind, we switched back, that's okay. So let's see. BT Clutch still running away with that fastest average. Knight did have a good few couple of first laps, but unfortunately she could not keep those coming. BT Clutch is now 17.537 best lap time, but the average is what matters here, and he has her by 0.2 of a second. So now 1 minute and 28 seconds remaining. And let's see, exactly 17.537 by BT Clutch. Baker, 17.637. Of course, Knight with the 17.535, trying to respond a little bit to BT Clutch. And BT Clutch goes even faster with the 17.4979. And it looks like Knight is trying her very, very best to try to get in front of BT Clutch. And let's see, 17.705. So she needs to just try to find that pace. Once again, BT Clutch responded right away and quickly to that fast lap time. Very out of the blue of that fastest lap time for Knight. Very great to see those times going up on the board and trying to bring the competition a little bit closer. 17.697 now for her. 11 laps in for everybody. 35 seconds remaining. The white flag is now out for all of the drivers. And let's see, it looks like, yep, Knight is going to get one more lap to try and answer BT Clutch, but it looks like he has this in the bag. Knight actually with a very fast time, 17.511. But unfortunately, those average lap times really do matter in this case. And that is the checkered flag out with 10 seconds remaining. All of the drivers are going to pass this checkered flag. And those are the final lap times. Baker, of course, is now through with the, as he does have a bye week. And it looks like BT Clutch is going to clutch the win and go on into the next round. He is now going to face against Wags, our American E-Kart Championship winner. And then it's going to be Baker versus Matt in the race as well. So that's going to be a very, very interesting race between them. And we are going to see who will move on between them. In the meantime, we're going to see the rerun of Bottas and Ice Cold. We'll see if Bottas can try to bring back those tenths in those average lap times to go right over Ice Cold and to make it into round two. Still anybody's game once again because the karts really are very similar here, but there are slight, maybe little things that you might be better at on that characteristic of that individual kart that maybe will suit your driving style. So the action never stops as we now have another race out on the track right away, already in their karts, ready to go. The karts are charged up and ready for these racers to unleash all of the power in these OTL Italian karts. Fun fact for any of you out there who are into electricity, these things charge at a whopping 5,800 watts. Quite incredible. And then they will go right back out on the track and just will deliver lap after lap of incredible performance. So we are now waiting patiently for Club Speed to actually bring in the first lap for us here. Let's see, there it is, Bottas with an 18.7, and Ice Cold is going to respond to that by doing a 17.7, so 1 second faster than Bottas. So it does actually seem like at this current moment, Alex has this bracket completely wiped. He is going to move on to the next round. Ice Cold will face against our number 2 seed, Luke. After that, Kyle is going to have a bye week, like I said, and then we'll see whenever I am going to race, because we'll see whenever they're going to pull me in. So Ice Cold 17.6 now, 3 minutes remaining. Bottas 18.6. And we just got the official, it was BT Clutch versus Baker? Yeah. It said on here, they switched it. Oh, I have a not updated board. So it was BT Clutch versus Baker. So it's Knight versus Wags now, and BT Clutch is now going up against Renegade. So I need to get an updated picture of the playoffs bracket so that I can commentate up here.
That's the only thing that switched, was that? And
that's
then,
it?
Yeah.
All right, now that's the only thing that switched. So now we are just going to see, I just got informed that these guys are not actually racing. They are trying to make this competition a little bit more interesting by anybody who is in round 2 with a bye. They are automatically moving on and then going to be racing those people so that everybody has an elimination, no matter what. Unless you are in round 2 already, of course. So 1 minute and 33 seconds remaining in this current race here. These guys are really just getting some traffic. Bottas leaving a lot of space for Alex. Hopefully he can follow him nice and closely and maybe get a little bit of an insight of exactly what is going on between his pace and Alex's pace. Maybe he can learn a little bit. He is keeping up with him a little bit better during this lap. And let's see what exactly, if he can follow him, as he is actually taking turn 1 quite a bit better than what he was before, but he is now a little bit behind Alex, a little bit too far maybe, to really see exactly what he's doing. But let's see what kind of lap time he's going to set down. It is going to be an 18.1, so he did learn a little bit from Alex up ahead. Maybe he can keep that going, learn a little bit more, and bring that into the next round. That will be very interesting to see if that can happen. So this is the updated times right now. Knight's average lap time turned out to be a 17.70. BT Clutch had a 17.65. Baker had a 17.692. So there were 0.04 of a second between BT Clutch and Baker. Very, very close racing between the two of them. And unfortunately, that is Baker out of this tournament, as we now have the checkered flag, and that is Ice Cold beating out Bottas, but of course they are not racing at the moment. Bottas and Ice Cold are going to move on into the next round. Bottas is going to go against Luke. So it's going to be Luke Bottas, and then it will be Ice Cold against Kyle Keckstrom. So I cannot wait until we see that. All right, it is my turn to go out and race, so hopefully I will see you guys out there.
booth with me, last year's champion, Wags. Wags, how's it going, man?
Great, man. It's intense tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we got a race out here now, as we mentioned before to the viewers. This is average lap time, your best 8 laps. So, when we look at the cars out here, explain a little bit, I guess, what you're seeing as far as, you know, braking. I noticed a lot that the cars are squeaking. Is that just from the braking, or?
Yes, you have a lot of chirp in this turn right here, turn 1, and in the hairpin. To be fast, you really want to slam your brakes pretty hard there, and those are really the only 2 places you want to brake.
Yeah, now when you brake too, it seems like the faster guys are doing the braking while the wheel's straight. You don't want to be on the brake as the wheel is turning. It seems like it slows you down.
Correct. Yeah, always have all 4 wheels straight when you're coming to your braking point. If you have any, you know, slight turn of the wheel, you're probably going to spin out a little bit and slow yourself down a lot.
Yeah, now as a competitor out there, like the mindset of the drivers, you know that you get a couple throwaway laps, but I imagine that you're really just looking for consistency and you want to get that consistency every lap.
Yes, yes. Everybody out here is really fast, so you know those throwaway laps, they're there, but you really don't want to use them. You want to be consistent as possible the entire time.
Daryl did mention at the drivers meeting that, you know, they use the move over flag here, so I guess that's to deter anyone from getting held up and kind of screwing up your lap. Yeah, you don't see too much of that today, though. I mean, everybody's fast in this race. Rubik's Pilot might run into Nate Barr here soon, but Nate's fast also, so you know we might not see it on this race. Later on, we might see it in some races. Yeah, it seems like the more races that go, the track's taking some rubber. It seems like the times are picking up as we go along. Is that something you look for to keep happening as we go through the night here?
Yeah, the track should get faster as the night goes on. I know it did last year. Everybody's running the same line, putting that heat down on that same part of the track that everybody's running on, and that definitely helps.
Yeah, now as a competitor, when you're out on the track, do you prefer to be out ahead where you have clear sight lines, or do you kind of like following someone just as like a guide to help you along?
In the playoffs like this, I like to be kind of like where the Rubik's Pilot is right now, behind Nate Barr. He's definitely toning in on his line and making sure, you know, he just seen Nate go a little wide there. He seen that he was faster, taking the carousel back there real tight. And he definitely picked up a lot of ground on Nate.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing the move over flag for the first time tonight. I think we put a jinx on it a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
But I'll get some times here for everyone in a minute when we get close to the end and see where we're going. Right now in our bracket right here, it's Nate Barr is going up against Rubik's, and Tripod is going up. Looks like it's going to be A. Weber and the Rubik's Pilot moving on unless something changes here. Looks like we got the white flag out. One more lap to go. Checker flag is flying here at Three Riddles Karting. Looks like it will be A. Weber with an average lap time of 17.544, advancing. The Rubik's Pilot will also advance with an average time of 17.565. Pretty impressive times, Wags. Like we were saying before, it seems like the track is picking up speed here.
Yes, definitely is. I can see later on, you know, we're getting down into the 17.2s.
All right, Wags, I appreciate you joining me up here in the booth. You got to go on the race. Good luck, and we'll be talking to you a little later.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, welcome back here to Three Rivers Karting. We got our next two matchups out here on the track. It's going to be Wags going against Knight. And I will get you the other one just here in a second when the board updates. But again, we're seeing some pretty good times laid down so far. These guys and girls are really getting after it. All right, so it looks like we're under racing conditions now. Got about 3 minutes left. Again, this race will be 4 minutes long. And just to reiterate, it goes by average time, and only your best 8 laps count. So if you do make a mistake, there are a few laps that you can throw away, but none of these people aren't playing tonight. They're going for the perfect lap every lap. Coming down past the flag stand now, and cart number 8 is Wags, the defending champion of the AEKC playoffs here at Three Rivers Karting. He's going to be a tough man to beat tonight. And we want to thank him again for joining me up here in the booth and giving us some of his expertise on what to look for as the night rolls on. So right now we got, again, 4 karts on the track. It's Wags versus Knight and BT Clutch versus Renegade. We're coming up about halfway down, 2 minutes down, 2 minutes to go in this matchup. And one of the things about this whole elimination style bracket tournament here is the further we go into the night, I feel like the lap times are just going to keep getting better and better and better. So we'll have to see where we are at the end of the night as far as the fastest lap. But the track definitely looks like it's coming in very nicely. So right now with a minute and a half left, we got the fastest of all 4 karts on the track average-wise is Renegade at 17.353, and Wags is close behind at 17.478. Now if it ends like that, those two will be going on to the next round because they're not competing against each other. Again, it's Wags versus Knight and BT Clutch versus Renegade. All right, we're down to the final minute here. Nut cutting time, as I like to say. Now right now, Wags' average time is 17.472, and his opponent Knight is 17.7. So unless something changes drastically, it looks like our defending champion will be going on to the next round. And not only does Renegade have the best average of this foursome, also has the best lap time of 17.219, which is pretty impressive. And that looks like it'll do it. Looks like we'll have Renegade going on to the next round and Wags also going on to the next round. So Wags looking to become back-to-back champion, is off to a good start to his night. We'll see what happens as the night transpires, but as I mentioned before, I think he's going to be a tough person to beat in this tournament because Wags seems to get faster and faster the more he races. So just something to keep your eye on as we go forward. We're going to go to a brief commercial here, and we'll be back with you at the next matchup here at the playoffs here at Three Rivers Karting.
guys, our friends at Overdrive Indoor Karting in Colorado Springs, they think they're cute by doing these trick shots. So, you know, James, I see you, buddy. That beautiful, magnificent, blonde, perfectly manicured hair of yours. We're going to challenge you to a trick shot little battle. So, do you accept our challenge? Who wants to go first?
All right, everybody, welcome back. We got our next matchup of 4 out on the track. Get ready to come to the green. This round, it's going to be the Rubik's Pilot, as Ryan, who's on the broadcast earlier. He'll be going up against A. Weber. I'm sorry. The board went away. I'll get that corrected for you guys here in a minute as we're coming to the green. But things are moving along at a pretty good clip now. All right, so we have Rubik's Pilot. He'll be going up against Nate Barr in this round. And then we have Tripod going up against Weber. And again, just to reiterate, you see 4 carts on the track, but they are not all racing against each other. This is a one-on-one competition, and it goes by your best lap average. So it's your best 8 laps. So again, if you make a mistake on a lap or two, it's no big deal. You get a couple throwaways, but everyone's on it tonight here at Three Rivers Karting, so we'll just have to see what this matchup brings. So it looks like we got about 2.5 minutes down, or 2.5 minutes to go, excuse me. Looks like right now the Rubik's Pilot is leading the train at an average of 17.442, and A. Weber is in second at 17.595. Now if it ends like this, both of them will advance into the next round as they're not competing against each other. Again, the Rubik's is going up against Nate Barr. Nate Barr right now, his average is at 17.8, so he's almost a half a second slower lap time average than Rubik's. So down to 2 minutes to go here, see what he can do. And then in our other matchup, A. Weber is at 17.567, and Tripod is currently at 17.759. So about 0.2 faster for A. Weber. Again, I feel like as further we get into the competition here, these matchups are going to get tougher and tougher. Now I just want to correct myself also. Before I said that these guys advanced in the last time they're out there. What happens is they have a 4-minute race, and then after that race is over, they race again and they switch carts. So the drivers will not be in the same cart for both races. This is just an interest of fairness. So we're down to the final minute here. Rubik's Pilot is still leading the way at a 17.4 average. So it looks like unless something changes drastically here, he's in pretty good shape to go off to the next round. All right, we got the white flag out. One more lap around. All right, now the checkered flag is flying here at Three Rivers Karting. And it looks like on the last lap, A. Weber actually had the fastest lap time of that race at a 17.361. But the Rubik's Pilot had the best average at 17.448. So both of those gentlemen will be advancing off into the next round. And again, just to reiterate, you'll see these matchups. All the drivers will come out twice. They'll run a 4-minute race, then they go in and switch carts, and then they come out again. So after this was the second race for all the drivers, this will be final. So now Rubik's will be going into the next round. All right, looks like in the hole here we're going to have, and again I apologize, we're going to have Wags is going against Knight and BT Clutch against Renegade. We saw them 2 races ago, but again, each driver runs a 4-minute race, then they switch carts out. So after this race, 2 more drivers will advance. All right, we're back again, getting ready for the next race. We just want to give a special shout out to Carson and Daryl, who made this whole live stream possible here, getting everything set up for you guys to be able to watch at home. So hopefully everybody's enjoying it, and me and Ryan are doing our best to keep you entertained and all up to date on the information. He's actually going to be joining me back here in the booth here in a second. He's getting wired up after a hard competitive race, which sees him advance to the next round.
All right, I am now back, guys. So, a little bit of a tough race out there, me against Nate, but luckily I did beat out him. So, good job, Nate, though. You did a very nice job out there. So, unfortunately, we are now finally going to be able to go on board with Wags, but the GoPro battery died. So, we can't currently go on board with him due to that little bit of technical difficulty. However, we will still get some great off-board things, off-board footage, I should say, of the racers going around the track. So, right now we are having the second race going up against Wags and Knight and BT Clutch and Renegade. So, Wags versus Knight, BT Clutch versus Renegade. So, that is the main battle. At the current moment, it is going to be Wags beating out Knight and Renegade beating out BT Clutch. But we'll see if any of these drivers can really be able to stick it out till the end and put down an even faster lap time against the competitor to secure their next spot in this championship. So Renegade now has the fastest lap of the race at a 17.358. Of course, going up against BT Clutch, who is battling him quite hard at a 5.52. 5.28 average for BT Clutch. Let's see what can Renegade answer that with, who has a 3.58 already. He's going to answer with a 3.37 and it has a 17.418 over BT Clutch. So very close racing. Once again, Wags versus Knight. Wags does have a 17.517 average lap time as he beats out BT Clutch with his fastest lap time of a 17.469. So, what does this mean for the championship? Well, I beat out Nate Barr, and I believe Weber beat out Tripod. So, I think it will be me versus Weber in the next round. But we'll just have to see exactly how things will go in terms of this championship. I do not have a verified answer of who is racing who, but I did beat out Nate, and I believe Weber beat out Tripod. So, back to this racing. We have Renegade with an average lap time of a 17.422. And that is going to be faster than his competitor with a 17.526. And Wags is still trying to find some pace, a little bit surprising from our championship winner last year. Not really seeing the pace that we're used to here. Renegade is really finding a little bit more pace than what Wags is finding at the current moment.
Make me sound fast.
We have a little bit of a bribe with no prize with Rat Miata coming up here telling me to make him sound fast. I will try my best. 1 minute remaining in this rental event that it says up on the screen, but it's really the American E-Kart Championship 2021. Cannot wait to see who ends up on the top step. So, Rubix moves on, which is me, and A. Weber moves on. So, it is going to be Rubix versus Weber. Of course, I am Rubix. So it's going to be me versus Weber, and he did have some pace in that previous race, so this isn't going to be an outright win like we've been really seeing in these past couple of races. So it's really going to be interesting to see who does come out on top. So there is the checkered flag. Matt does not have as good of a lap time as he did last time. Only managing to get a 17.326, which is the fastest lap time other than his that we have seen tonight, 3.26. Wags with that 4.31 though. So Wags' average was much, much closer to his best time than what Renegade's was. But of course, that wasn't a competition. Those were just the faster drivers. So coming up is going to be Rat Miata versus Chronic and Dave Barr versus Joel Jabubby. Now, 86-degree track temperature verified by Daryl out on the track. A little bit of comedy going out there on the track, saying that our resident Scooter Stu has come to visit us here at Three Rivers Karting. He did make a very speedy recovery, luckily, from his, I believe, a kidney transplant. So maybe we'll interview him a little bit later, if he would like. But yes, this is the interesting race. Carl Chronic versus Rat Miata Drew. Dave Barr versus Jabubby will also be a very interesting race. They both do not have a ton of experience on this track, so it will be very interesting to see the difference between it. So we are now pulling the onboard GoPro off of the go-kart to go ahead and charge it. But the drivers are now in the carts, waiting for them to get the Speed 1 warning for them to go out onto this nice track. Once again, has warmed up 5 degrees since we have first started running. Very interesting to see how this track will develop throughout the night. The times will keep on getting faster, and I cannot wait to see what the final races are going to be, what those lap times are going to be. And nothing really happening right now. So going through the bracket so far. So we do have Wags moving on to round 3. We have Renegade moving on to round 3. We have yet to see who will move on from the race between Carl and Rat Miata and Dave and Jabubi. So this is race number 4, as the karts are now crawling out of the pit lane. Stopped right at the front. Daryl now gives the okay for the karts to go out on the track. First person out on the track is Rat Miata, kart number 12. Following him is Carl. They are fighting against each other in this championship. Then it's going to be Dave Barr, number 21. Then we have Joel Jabubi trying to get as much space as he possibly can to try and squeak out those extra tenths of a second, maybe get a little bit more space so that if he does end up catching Dave Barr, which he very well could, he does have that little bit of leeway in order to, you know, maybe get a little bit of an advantage over him. So we are now waiting for the first lap to go through here at Three Rivers. Waiting for the first lap. Officially, green flag is now out. Drew is trying to find his braking marker. Carl going a little bit wide going through the first corner, maybe not quite accustomed to the new braking marker as much as Drew is. He did do a little bit more practice than he had before, than what Carl had done before. But we are still waiting for that first lap as Rat Miata sets the first time at a 17.6. Carl 3/10 behind, 17.9. They really need to pick up the pace if they really want to see it, but that is Rat Miata still up top, with then Joel just behind with the 17.679. Very interesting to see Joel up there. He did get a little bit of practice. He came to the Unlimited Karting night, but it does look like Carl is struggling a little bit in that number 11 kart. Maybe he's not quite accustomed to this new track, like I said, and maybe that kart is not to what he really likes. He's really cranking the steering wheel on that thing, trying to get as good of a lap time as he can, getting a little bit of oversteer going into that first corner. He did actually hit both of those apexes, and it does look like he is on a little bit of a good lap now. Going into the first hairpin, hugs it quite nice. Let's see what kind of lap time he's going to run. It's going to be a 17.691, not quite up to par to what Rat Miata has, and he is 1/10 of a second behind Rat Miata in terms of the average lap times, and that is your oldest man here on this track right now, Jabubi, setting a 17.507. Joel on pole. Dream might be coming true. He does now let Dave Barr now lets Joel by. I am not actually sure the age of Dave Barr, but I just had to think of something to say, and that's the first thing that came to my mind, because we call him the grandpa of the karting league here. So good job for Joel. He took some time off to spend time with his newlywed wife. So congratulations to you, Joel. Married man now. 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining in this this tournament bracket. Joel is being quite consistent, and Rat Miata is really far ahead of Carl, exactly 1/10 of a second on average. Faster lap time than Carl, but Joel sets a 17.438. Quite uncharacteristic from Joel, but maybe once again the Joel on pole dream is still alive. Man, that average is really starting to go down and down, and 4.98, he's really finding those consistency. These aren't just hero laps from Joel that we're seeing. He is really putting down these lap times, and that's Carl now beating out Rat Miata in terms of the best lap time, maybe trying to crawl back a little bit of time that he lost in the beginning of the stint. but that fight is still not over. Carl with 17.7, Ratmiata is 17.6, still a tenth between them, but Carl is now finding some pace. Ratmiata did just set his fastest lap, pulling down his average by a little bit more than what Carl might have wanted. The white flag is now out. Dave Barr crosses at number 21, going through the first corner now, and that is Ratmiata crossing now. And Chronic is crawling back those tenths that he can find. He might have just had a little bit of a hero lap, as Drew would say, but Drew was much more consistent than what Carl was doing out on the track, which led him to have a faster average of 5:09. His last few laps were within 100th of a second of each other. Quite impressive consistency from Ratmiata there. But in this first heat, Jababi does beat out Dave Barr in the championship, and Ratmiata beat out Chronic, even though Carl did set a lap time 0.005 of a second faster than what Ratmiata could manage. Very, very exciting race there. Cannot wait. On this next coming up rental event, it will be Luke going up against Kyle. Kekstrom, Bottas against Ice Cold. They will be racing on the same track once again, but this time they are competing against each other. Or is it Kyle? Well, Kyle against Alex and Luke against Bottas. Let me double check for everybody what the actual matchup is between them. I believe it is Luke and Bottas. I'm getting an updated bracket now. So maybe I could get an updated bracket from somebody. So we will see now as the drivers are now getting into their karts, trying to get a little bit accustomed. Luke in that number 7 kart quite fast here. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what kind of lap times he can throw down. Kart number 3 is also not a slouch. All of those karts in that row are quite quick karts, so nobody really has any bit of, complaining to do to really set apart the lap times with each other. So starting in that number 7 kart, first in the pit lane, that is going to be Luke. Next coming out is Kyle, then Bottas, then it is Ice Cold Alex. Making sure everyone's ready. Unplugging the carts from the brand new installed chargers just a few months ago. Really trying to get as many carts as we can in here. Maybe even trying to order a few more carts, trying to get maybe 24 so that during our full league, we do not have to run any twice. So the updated round is going to be Luke versus Bottas and Kyle against Ice Cold. Thank you for that, Knight. So now I do have some updated lap times, average lap times for you. Very, very close. That is very interesting. Me against Weber, we were only 1,000th of a second difference between each other on that last run. Of course, we were in different karts, which might play a little bit of a role, but we were on the same track conditions. We are now going up against each other head to head in this very heated tournament style. So stay tuned for round 3 of the American E-Kart Championship for Three Rivers Karting. So right now, as I said, it's going to be Luke versus Bottas out on track. Luke, this is our first time that we are seeing Luke, our number 2 seed. He is on the other side of the bracket, out in that number 7 kart. It is quite fast here, one of my favorites, and we are still waiting for that first lap to come in. Loading, and that is Luke with a 17.578, Kyle with a 17.792. And we'll see exactly what kind of lap time Bottas can put in as an 18.45. And Ice Cold with a 17.767. Those are our first laps that we are seeing here tonight. 17.427 from Luke now. He is really picking up the pace. He does currently have the lap record on this track layout at a 17.114. So this track is not quite up to par as what it could be. but maybe the drivers are not quite up to par as what they could be. But we will just have to see exactly how this track once again progresses, as Bottas already getting a blue flag against Alex, not seeming like it's going to affect his lap time too much, as he does just snake up the inside of him. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this playoff bracket. Going into the first corner there. Alex shaking his head a little bit, knowing that he went a little bit wide, carrying just a bit too much speed into that first corner, and really don't want to be doing that all too much. It's really something that we don't advise you doing too much here, as you do lose a little bit of time. Luke going against Bottas, like I said, that's going to be, Luke has an average lap time right now, about a second a lap faster than Bottas. Bottas has a 17.9, Luke best lap time of a 17.427, and his average lap time is only 0.05 of a second. As he actually just now goes a 17.299, kart number 7 on his 7th lap, dips into the twos just barely, right under 2 minutes remaining. So it does seem like it might be a little bit of a shutout between the two of them. But Ice Cold and Kyle are still, it's still anybody's race. 1/10 of a second on average between the two of them is really just separating them. And that's really something that we got to keep an eye on, because a few laps here and there could really make the difference. It's the average lap time, like I said, as Luke beats his best lap time, going to 17.278, one of the fastest lap times we have seen tonight. Very few have dipped into the twos yet. So let's see, 4.22 from Luke and 18.219 from Bottas. And there is a little over 1/10 of a second between Ice Cold and Kyle, with Ice Cold being the faster end of the group there. But still, it's very interesting to see between these drivers here and these different karts, exactly what kind of lap times can they throw down. Luke, very, very consistent in that kart number 7, as the white flag is now being shown for Kyle, who is currently going through turn 1. So, 25 seconds remaining in this session. The checkered flag is now out for Kyle. That is it for him. That's all he can do. Ice Cold comes across the checkered line, the finish line, and unfortunately, Luke, who threw up his hand for whatever reason, he got quite a good lap in as a 17.278. Ice Cold dipping into the threes a little bit, but can he consistently go into the threes? That's the question, but he definitely does have a 1/10 of a second over Kyle. We'll have to see how that will prosper in the following races. So, coming up is round 2, heat number 2, between Rat Miata and Carl, and Dave Barr and Joel. Make sure you guys will stay tuned for that, because that is definitely going to be an exciting race. in cart number 21 just got fired up on speed 4. Then there goes Carl in cart number 12. And finally, to go out onto speed 4 is Rat Miata. So at the current moment, Rat Miata is faster than Carl. But can Carl crawl back those tenths of a second? We will just have to wait and see. I cannot wait until these drivers finally get their lap times in. And we are waiting patiently for the green flag to come out, which it is now, but the first lap has still yet to count. So let's see, Dave Barr going through the final hairpin now. He will be the first one to set a lap, and that is a 17.8 from Dave. Then next we have Joel, who is a 17.9. They are going up against each other. Carl with a 17.5. And let's see, Drew going across with a 17.7. So the tables have turned for everybody on the first lap. Carl with quite a fast lap time. Maybe cart 11 isn't as good, but they really need Drew really needs to find some pace here. Does he find some pace on his second lap? Yes, he does. 17.556, but Carl does beat him out a little bit because of consistency, and he now has over a tenth on his average. Still anybody's game for this. 3 minutes remaining. Joel is ahead of Dave officially now. But the real battle is between Rat Miata and Carl. This is something that we have been anticipating since the bracket came out. This is the race that will decide who moves on. This one specifically, Carl is a full tenth of a second faster than Rat Miata. Rat Miata gets a 17.485, bringing down that average a little bit now, brings it down to half a tenth, 5/100th of a second now. And he really does need to make up a lot of time if he wants to move on in this championship. Carl sets the fastest lap, 17.451, going back and forth. It's really going to be up to the altogether average. Is Rat Miata consistent enough to keep pounding out these laps? And is Carl consistent enough in that cart number 12? More consistent than what he was in cart number 11. We will see. He's going through the teardrop now, braking hard, going into the double hairpin. The first part of it now into the second. Very quick lap around here. Of course, 17-second lap times. He does set quite a fast lap time, but Drew moves up into a 17.401 with his 7th lap, with his average now almost equaling Carl's. Carl, you need to pick it up, buddy. You really need to start picking it up to try and move on in this championship. Rat Miata really crawling back those 10, 17.479, just 1/100th of a second faster than Carl, who is in second place. This is very, very intense and close racing between the two of them. It's still anybody's game. Rat Miata going across Carl in the 17.3s now, trying to really beat out Rat Miata, trying his hardest, as Rat Miata does set a 17.5. So that does hurt his average a little bit. Carl still crawling back those hundreds. We will have to see exactly the final verdict of who will move on after this race. Jabubby is currently 0.2 of a second faster than Dave Barr, so it does look like Joel is going to move on in this championship against Dave, but it is still anyone's game against Carl and Rat Miata. The white flag is now out. Carl, 17.375 is his fastest lap time. Rat Miata cannot respond with a 17.5, and his average is slightly slower than Carl's. And we will see as Carl now goes across the finish line, going through the final corner now. What kind of lap time? 3.88, once again beating his average. And Rat Miata cannot respond, 17.523. Carl can still win this bracket. We will just have to see exactly what the final lap time will be. Quite intense between the two of them, and great racing from them both. Great answering from Carl there, and now it is up to the mathematicians out back to get the average lap times out, and the results will be posted in chat by Joel AC whenever they do eventually come out. Wow, incredible second race from all of them. And definitely stay tuned for the Heat 2 between Luke, Kyle, Ice Cold, and Bottas. All right, let's see what the final verdict is between the drivers. You cannot see them, but we will be getting audio. We will see what the difference was. Maybe we'll have Rap Miata reveal. We'll have Rap Miata reveal what the verdict. Who won between the two of you?
I did, obviously.
By how much?
200th.
200ths of a second. That is the margins we are talking about right now. We'll have a little bit of an interview with Carl. What a little bit of a tournament here.
A little disappointed. I thought I had him at the end, but he got me too good on the first one. So better luck next year, I guess.
It is better luck next year. Unfortunately, that is Carl out of the championship. But now we are ready to go racing once again. The action never stops here at Three Rivers. So now I'm just jumping back up to my commentary booth after being down there interviewing the drivers. Now we have Alex against Bottas and Luke against Kyle. 200ths of a second, ladies and gentlemen. That is the kind of racing that we are expecting to see out on the track today. So now we are patiently waiting for the first lap to go with these drivers out on the track right now. Car number 3 going into turn 1 right now. That is Alex in all white. That is ice cold Alex, setting the second fastest lap time as Luke goes right out of the gate with a 10.407. Quite a good lap time from him. And Bottas responds with an 18.2, unfortunately, from him. So Luke is probably most likely and statistically going to move on in this championship over Bottas. And so that will be Rap Miata moving on against Carl. And that is, let's see, Luke moving on against Bottas. We will still have to see the battle between Kyle and Ice Cold, but at the current moment, Ice Cold is going to move on. So, in round 3, we have Wags against Renegade, and Rubik's Pilot, which is me, against Anthony Weber. That is going to be an intense race all around for every driver. Going into round 3 is going to be Luke against Alex Ice Cold, and then it will be Rat Miata against Joel. So that is the standings right now. At the current moment, as actually Luke sets a 17.288. Quite a good lap time right out the bat with 2 minutes remaining in this session. So we only have 8 drivers remaining in this championship. We have knocked out quite a few drivers already. And we only have a few rounds. We are now, after this race, we will be into the quarterfinals. Luke, 17.260. Quite quick from him. And it's very, very interesting to see how close his average is to that as he is crawling his average way back down. 17.388 average lap time from Luke. And then we have Ice Cold with a 17.602. Going against Bottas is 18.3. So not as close of racing as we did have last time, but that's always going to happen no matter what. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining in this race. And then I will have to leave the commentary booth right after this one and hop into a cart in order for me to try and fight for my spot in this championship. And it will definitely be a very, very close race. This race is still not over yet. 1 minute remaining. White flag is still not out. 10 laps. 10 laps in. Luke with a 17.4. Average lap time. Best lap time is 17.26. Quite a bit faster than his average. So maybe the consistency isn't quite there with that kart number 10. I did drive it, and it is quite a fast kart. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely those faster karts is something that you really do need to try to get as close as you can to those barriers. And sometimes you get a little bit too close and then you accidentally bang the barrier a little bit. The white flag is now out. And at this current moment, it does look like Luke is going to beat out Bottas. and that's going to be Ice Cold beating out Kyle. So once again, now we do have 8 racers remaining as the checkered flag goes out for Alex, checkered flag goes out for Bottas, checkered flag goes out for Luke, and finally across the line, the checkered flag is out for Kyle. Stay tuned for the next race, round 3 of the American E-Kart Championship here at Three Rivers Karting.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Brandon back in the booth. I got a special guest up here with me. This individual's in the final 4 of his bracket. Joel, what's going on, man?
Hello, hello, hello.
You're having a pretty good night so far. How you feeling about things?
Absolutely, I'm feeling pretty good about that last race. I actually shocked myself that I could actually get past to this next quarterfinal with round 3. I'm looking to take out Drew Ratmiata is his racer name. Hopefully I could knock him out, but I'll give him my best college try on it.
Yeah, now just being on the track, how are things looking out there? Does it look like the track's picking up some speed as we go along through the night?
It is. The track's getting warm. It's starting to get sticky. We're getting these races out more consistently, so the track's not cooling down. The tires are warm, and you're battling just the sweat off your brow to get these fast laps. And I'm trying to do the best we can. So it's right now it's about skill and the best timing around the lap.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, as we watch Wags come out lead the parade here, I'm going to ask you like I asked Wags.
Yeah.
As a racer, do you have a preference where you come out on the track? Do you like being the first car out where you have a clear sight line, or do you rather be behind someone to kind of use them as a judge where you might be gaining or losing time?
Yeah. That's a great question. So depending on the race, I'll try to switch it up. If I know that I got to track some folks down who are faster than me, I want to be in the back. I want to watch their line. I want to pace with them so I can catch up with them. If I know that I can beat the folks that are in my race, I want to be in front because you're going to slow me down.
Yeah, and it looks like, too, just from watching, the faster guys, so we come into turn 1 here, it looks like when they brake, they're braking hard that you can hear it, but they're not turning the wheel. Is that a real key on the track here at Three Rivers Karting, that you need to basically straight brake and not be turning the wheel as you brake?
Absolutely. The number 1 rule in karting is that you have to brake straight. You do not want to be braking in turns because these are rear wheel brakes. So you definitely want to make sure you can feather that brake and figure out where that brake wants to grab. Hit hard, release it, and then turn that wheel and gas it as fast as you can.
Yeah, and another key thing here too, I think, is you can't trail brake, which I learned the hard way. You try to jam the brakes while you got your foot on the gas, it kills the motor, which will definitely kill your lap.
I tell you, it's one of those safety features they have in these karts here, these OTLs, these Italian OTLs. So brakes, gas, no go.
Yeah. Now, as you look out the track here, just give us a little bit of your observation as a racer. What are you seeing out here? Who looks good to you?
I think who looks good right now is going to be the Rubik's pilot, who is Ryan, and then it's going to be Matt Pickle, Renegade. This guy, Renegade, he's just a natural racer. He can whip that cart around these corners like no other. He is fast. He is a shark out there. He knows how to drop the fast times.
And we definitely can't forget about last year's winner, Wags. He reminds me of Cool Hand Luke. Nothing phases him.
Nothing phases him. What I really admire about Wags is that he drops consistent times. He knows how to race. He knows how to compete, and he just loves to be on the track with the fellas and the ladies. It's one of those things where you got a great guy in Quentin who can just know how to race and have a good time. And thankfully, he's actually going down to Jacksonville this year. So this is just par for the course for him to actually get some practice before he goes down to Jacksonville.
Now, another unique feature here, Joel, at Three Rivers Karting is you can, I don't know if you can see on the broadcast, but when you come across the finish line, you can actually see the scoring monitor. Now, when you're out there racing, do you try to take a peek at that, or do you just don't worry about it because it messes up your rhythm?
To me, I look. That personal preference, I want to know what kind of lap was that, because I'm thinking in my head how I should be handling the next lap. I need to just look up, peek real fast to see where I'm at and say, okay, do that again.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, you're a professional. You can do that. If I tried that, I'd probably look at it too long and end up in the wall down here. You know what I'm saying?
It's all about the timing, brother. It's all about the timing.
Yeah, definitely. So we're coming down to the last minute here in this matchup. Looks like Wags has the fastest time overall, but once again, all 4 of these individuals will be back for another race. They'll switch out the karts after this first race. So that's another thing I want to ask you. As far as switching out karts, I'm sure, does everyone seem to have, do you have a personal preference on the karts? Do you subscribe to the theory that there might be some better than others, or is that just more of a mental thing that you don't really concern yourself with?
Absolutely, that's a great question. You battle the mental plus how you feel about the kart. Some karts definitely feel a little bit different than the others, but in actuality, most of the karts, if not all of them, are all within a time frame of each other. So It's really, if you can hit the right line and get the right rhythm on the kart, you can make that kart do anything you want.
Yeah. We got the white flag out here, so we're coming to the end of this. So
Yeah, these karts are well maintained. You get Augie. This is a premier track. You go to other tracks that use OTLs, you can immediately tell a difference in these karts. It's just bar none, well maintained. They're powerful, and you get spoiled here because you actually race the kart. Other areas, other facilities, you don't get to do that.
Yeah. As we wrap up here before we let you go, I just say another thing too is anyone out there that's thinking about trying the league, I haven't done it, but I think I'm going to try it the next time. I'd recommend it because it seems like you guys and ladies all have a good camaraderie. So we want to thank you for joining us, Joel. You got to go race now.
I got to go race.
You're being summoned by Daryl.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We got our next race here out on the track as we're whittling down the field here at the American E-Karting Championships. Once again, want to thank Joel, who joined me for the last race. It's nice getting some input from a competitor about what they're seeing, what's going on out there. Try to make it a little better for the viewers to understand, anyone that might not have ever raced a go-kart. So we got our next 4 out on the track, and just like the last race, again, this will be the first of 2 races. They'll race 4 minutes, than the best average, but this race really is just a warm-up. There are going to be no eliminations. So right now on the track, we got Joel, who was out there before, who just talked to us, Rat Miata, Ice Cold 160, and Luke. So this session is underway here. We'll see what we get for some lap times. Everybody's spread out pretty good here, so should be seeing some good times getting laid down. So about 1 minute into this session, it looks like Rat Miata has the fastest overall time at 17.485. Oh, scratch that. Luke is the fastest time now at 17.479. Actually, this is all 4 of these guys are all pretty close. So this will be a good matchup when they come out again for the elimination. And like Joel said, it's really just about concentrating and hitting your marks. That's what it's all about. And even though you get a couple of throwaway laps per se from you talking to Wags and talking to Joel, doesn't seem like the drivers really even think about that. They're just focused on laying down the best possible lap they can every single lap. And we also hope to have the owner, Daryl, on here before the end of the night. He's a little shy, so hopefully we can prod him up here to get him to talk to us. All right, so we got about 1.5 minutes left in this session. Looks like Joel's actually leading the way on the best. Just as soon as I say that, Luke goes back to the top of the leaderboard with the 17.323. And then Joel is second at 17.378, followed by Rat Miata at 17.390, and Ice Cold at 17.487. Now again, that's just their best time. It goes by your average. So when these guys come out again for the second race, the best average in each individual matchup will go on. And at that point, we'll be down to the final 4 to determine who's going to be the champion here tonight at Three Rivers Karting. So just real quick, looking over the averages for everybody, it looks like Luke has the fastest lap time, and he also has the best average at 17.472, but he's followed closely by Joel at 17.480. So these guys are really getting after it here in this session. And tonight's champion could easily come from these 4 drivers. All right, checkered flag waves on this set. Just real quickly again, Luke has the best lap time and the best lap average. So it's setting up well for him to advance if he can just repeat this performance in the next race. We haven't had a track temperature check in a while, but I'd imagine it's getting a little bit warmer in here as the racing goes on. The track's definitely picking up the pace. All right, stay tuned. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with our next matchup. All right, everybody, welcome back. I got a special guest here joining me, racer Brandon. Brandon, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you doing up here?
We're doing pretty good. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
a lot of your fellow racers are a little shy about coming up, so
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So just get ready to start this matchup here. This is the second round of this matchup. So
Yes.
we got Wags going up against Renegade and Rubik's versus A. Weber. What are you looking for out here in this matchup? Any favorites? Without putting you on the spot.
No, you're good. So this is what I noticed from the first race. These lap times are so close. These guys are so close with each other. It's insane. I mean, Wags and Renegade were back and forth the whole first race, and Weber and Rubik's are right next to each other, and their averages are so close.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that as well. The averages are so close that it's like, even though it's only your 8 best laps, you get a throwaway. I was telling the viewers that no one's taking that throwaway. These boys are just on the gas all night long.
So I tell you what, I don't think there's a clear favorite, but it's exciting. That's what matters.
Yeah, I mean, the winner of both these matchups, it could be either Wags or Renegade or Rubik's and A. Weber. I could see either one winning, so
For sure.
we're just going to have to wait here. In about 3 minutes, we'll find out what everyone else.
Oh, yes. And they're already so close. Look at that.
Yeah, it looks like right now the Rubik's pilot has the best overall time in the group. But again, he's going up against A. Weber.
287.
And Wags is going against Renegade. So it looks like right now Renegade's ahead of Wag. Let me get a closer look here. Daryl didn't bring us a big Jumbotron. Yeah, it looks like Renegade's at 17.3 and Wags is at 17.4. So they're definitely close. And we still got 2.5 minutes, so there's a long way to go.
Yes, we do. So yeah, Rubik's is setting a good pace for himself, though, making himself look like the clear favorite out of his matchup, I think.
Yeah, last year Rubik's was a 17 seed and he did good. It was kind of a
I heard about that.
kind of a shocker.
I heard about that. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, to me it'd be a big shock if Wags went out already.
Yes, I've been getting that kind of impression a lot too. I know Renegade is great. He actually won the league championship, the league that I did, which was this most recent one. But he only beat out Wags for that championship by about, I believe, 2 points.
Yeah, so Wags was saying it was definitely a good competition.
And I think Wags wore that shirt to remind himself of Florida as some extra motivation, maybe.
Yeah.
Because he's got that festive flamingos, I believe.
Yeah, not too many racers you're going to see wearing a flamingo shirt, so he definitely gets style points for that.
Yeah, I love that. That got me excited.
So we're coming down here, counting down. We're almost down to a minute.
Rubik's is into the 17-1s.
Yeah, Rubik's is definitely picking up and laying them down.
I tell you, I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I mean, he's setting some good times there.
Yeah, he's
beating Renegade.
Every time he gets on the track tonight, he's getting faster and faster. So I could easily see Rubik's winning this deal, and I don't think anyone would consider it an upset at this point.
No way.
So we're down to the last minute, Brandon. Looks like Rubik's is in good shape, but Renegade's average is at 17.319. Wags is at 17.391. So it looks like Wags might be in trouble here unless he can pull something out.
White flag.
So we're on the last lap here. Unless things change drastically, looks like Rubik's and Renegade are going to be moving off to the next round.
Rubik's got his average to the 17.2s. That is impressive.
Yeah, especially considering the Renegade 17.3, so he's a whole 1/10 of a second faster, and that's on average. So that's over the course of the whole race.
That is insane. And look at their final quickest lap times.
I know.
That's not the deciding factor, but that's 3 thousandths?
Yeah, it's about as close as you can get. Rubik's best time was 17.188, and Renegade was 17.191. So looks like those two will be going on, and believe it or not, looks like Wags is out, which I think would be a big upset at this point.
I would consider it an upset because it's Wags going out, but if anyone's going to take him out, I'm not surprised it's Renegade. He's one of the best racers I've raced against here, for sure.
Yeah, that was some good racing, and the lap times are picking up, so we're going to get ready to go to a commercial here, and then we'll come back with the next round, and might still have Brandon here with me.
Okay. Focus. Speed. I am speed. One winner. Many losers. I eat losers for breakfast. Breakfast. Maybe I should have had breakfast. No, no, no. Stay focused. Speed. I'm faster than fast. Quicker than quick. I am Wags.
Wags, you ready?
Oh yeah. Wags is ready.
All right, welcome back. We got our next matchup coming on the track here. This is going to be the elimination race. So we got Jabubby versus Rat Miata and Luke versus Ice Cold. What a name, Brandon. Ice Cold, huh?
Ice Cold.
I wish it was ice cold in here. Daryl got us roasting up here.
I bought a whole shirt from Three Rivers Karting. I love the shirt, obviously, but mainly because my last shirt was like a beach towel.
I've known him since we were babies. I can't get nothing, so.
We know. So, Renegade has officially knocked out Wags.
Yeah, Daryl told us, but I think we already knew.
Yeah.
We're already on top of it, brother.
Yes, we are.
But like I was saying, I'm still waiting for some 3RK swag. Maybe after tonight, since it was my computer that made this broadcast happen, I'll finally get something.
Oh, I hope you do.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. But back to business now. This race is underway. We're headed down to 3 minutes to go here. Looks like this is going to be another tight one, Brandon, just like the last race.
Oh, it is. Some 4 more great drivers out here.
Put on your prognosticator hat. What are you seeing out of this matchup? Who do you like out of these two pairs?
Well, so I haven't raced much with, I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, Jabubby, but his name's Joel. I haven't raced much with him before because he wasn't in our last league. But I raced with Ice Cold, and he, They're all good. It's so hard to pick a clear favorite, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, I think out of the four, Luke is a really great driver. And from the few races I have done with Drew, he's a great driver. And actually, most of the stuff that I know about this track, I've learned from Drew. He's been one of the guys that's helped me out the most. So it's hard for me not to cheer for him.
Yeah, it seems like you guys in the league have a pretty good camaraderie between you, where everyone kind of helps each other out, which, so I was saying earlier, if anyone was thinking about coming down to join the league, I would definitely recommend it, because these guys, the fast guys, will help you.
Oh, it's great.
You know?
We all get along great in here. It's so fun. I'm grateful for the chance to come down here. I didn't even know this place existed over a year ago. And here I am racing in the league and the playoffs. It's great. Everybody should come down here and check the place out.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. So let's just keep the viewers informed here. We're under 2 minutes to go. Looks like Joel has the fastest time at 17.297.
That's Drew, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got it backwards.
He's got a good time.
Yeah, his his average is 17.4, which is pretty good. But remember, in the last race, we saw Rubik's at 17.2, so
that was
this pace in this one's a little bit slower than the last one.
Yes, it is. But a 17.29 is still a pretty good, for a fastest lap time.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. There goes Luke improving a bit.
Now it looks like if those things drastically change, it looks like Rat Miata has a 17.445 average and Jabubby's at 17.6. So unless he can pull something out here in the last minute, looks like Rat Miata is going to be advancing in that matchup.
I think he's the guy, yes.
And then Luke versus Ice Cold.
This is a close matchup.
I know. Ice Cold has a better lap time, but the average is actually, looks like Luke, but not by much.
Not by much. Oh, even less now. 3 thousandths.
Yeah, this is going to come right down to the wire between Ice Cold and Luke.
My goodness.
That's what makes this fun. It's all about the competition, man.
It is great. That is my favorite part about this place.
All right, Brandon, we're down to 30 seconds to go here.
He's getting that white flag ready.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say Rat Miata's pretty safe.
I think yeah.
17.4 and Joel's 18.1. So
yes, back to the 18s.
The next Ice Cold and Luke are still too close to call. It's going to come right down to the end.
Yeah, his average bumped up. Luke is just barely getting the edge on him here.
Yeah, last lap. This can make or break one of them right here.
It will. So that white flag is out.
We got the checkered. We'll see what the scoreboard tells us here in a moment. So it looks like Rat Miata, with an average of 17.4, is going to advance to the next round. And it looks like they took the board away. I want to say Luke, but we'll have to get official confirmation on that.
Now is the waiting game where we wait for word.
Yeah. In fact, if you don't mind, can you take a run downstairs and find out for the viewers who advances between Luke and Ice Cold?
I will gladly do that.
All right. And while he does that, we'll throw it to another commercial here and be right back here at the Taj Mahal of Karting down in Leetsdale, Pennsylvania, otherwise known as Three Rivers Karting. All right, everybody, welcome back here at Three Rivers Karting. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Real quick before this race starts, Brandon, you got an update for us on who won the last matchup between Luke and Ice Cold?
So, Luke edged out Ice Cold by, I want to say, a couple hundredths of a second. So Luke moves on, Ice Cold is out.
All right, thanks for finding that out. Daryl took that away from us too quick.
He did, but...
So, and now we got the final four on the track. So, we're getting down to the end now.
This is it. This is the final four.
So in this matchup, this round, it's going to be Rubix versus Renegade and Rat Miata versus Luke. So what are you thinking about this round?
Well, I'll tell you. It was hard for me to pick a favorite in the last ones. This, though, man.
You pretty much, it's pretty much a toss-up. Any of these guys could win.
You know, all we can do is really just sit back and enjoy the show. I will say, I am very impressed with that average that Rubik's put together.
Well, I will say that DraftKings had Wags the odds-on favorite, so if you bet on Wags, you lost your lunch.
Oh, man.
But he'll still be going anyway since he won the title last year, so at the end of the day, he's still a winner, even though he didn't win this event.
And that's why he wore his happy floral shirt with the flamingos.
Yeah.
So.
I think we should get Daryl to wear a flamingo shirt. What do you think?
Maybe that'll brighten up his spirits a little bit, you know?
Yeah. All right, so let's go take a look at the scoreboard, Brandon. We got this matchup underway. Again, this is not the elimination race. So right now it looks like, as far as best time, looks like Luke has the best time at 17.265, followed closely by Renegade at 17.304. And it looks like in this matchup, all the averages are pretty close again. Luke averaging 17.3, Renegade 17.3, Rubik's 17.4, and Rat Miata 17.4. So I think it's going to be another cutting it right down to the wire.
Luke already into the 17.2s.
You know, Luke has looked fast all night, but you know, I don't think too many people might have thought he would have made it this far. So
yeah, he's been a quiet racer all through the league. You know, it doesn't seem like we talk about him as much as Renegade and Wags, but he's one of the most consistent drivers here.
I mean, at this point, for any of the four, it'd be a huge accomplishment just making it to the final four, win or lose.
And look at that, a 17.202 now.
Yeah, Luke is definitely out there laying down the laps. So, as of now, it looks like he might be the man to beat.
Oh yes, he's got a nice average put together, 17.2 in the average.
And again, just to reiterate, the matchups, it will be, oh, I got the wrong paper. Hang on. Here, it's going to be Rubik's and Renegade and Rat Miata versus Luke.
17.157 is the fastest lap now.
Yeah, Luke definitely looks strong out there, man. He's stringing laps together. I don't really see any weakness in him right now.
No. He's getting better and better every lap.
And I know they haven't done a temperature check in a while, but I was telling the listeners earlier that, you know, I think the track is definitely picking up speed, and it's, you know, the more rubber gets laid down, these karts just hook up.
It is. It feels like we're having a little bit less time in between races. We're really getting to it, you know. So maybe less cool down time, or.
Well, I'm glad about that, because Daryl told me this would be over by 9, and clearly we can see he was way wrong about that.
Oh yes. Well, I had somebody tell me we would be here till after midnight, and that doesn't look like that's going to be the case either. So.
Yeah, I hope not. No. I'm an old man. I'll be falling asleep.
Oh, me too. I've got work in the morning, but 30 seconds left.
We're coming down to the end here, Brandon. Looks like Luke, again, can't state it enough. He looks like the man to beat as of right now. But that's why you run the race, so no telling what happens in the next race, which will be the elimination race.
These drivers still have to swap parts for the next one. I will say that race between Renegade and the Rubik's pilot is still very close.
All right, and the checker's out to end this first matchup. Again, as you stated, all the competitors will switch karts and we'll come out again for another 4-minute race, and that will be the elimination race.
This is some fantastic racing.
Yeah, you really couldn't ask for much more. I mean, it's every race is close and competitive.
It seems like every lap, every race, they're just getting better each lap. It's just that thrill of knowing how close you are, the adrenaline.
All right, we're going to have a brief break here while they switch out the carts, so we're going to throw it to a commercial break, and we'll be right back with the elimination race for the Final Four here at Three Rivers Karting.
Hey guys, Daryl here. Been getting requested to come up here to do an interview and I guess talk to all of our guests who are watching. I hope those who have been paying attention have been getting a pretty decent show. I think we got some close lap times. We just had our semi-finalists go out. We are waiting for the carts to charge up here. Since they have to run the same carts again, we can't run another race. So we gotta wait about 5-10 minutes here while those carts get charged, put them in their opposite carts, and let them go out and see who makes it to the finalists. If anybody's on, is anybody able to message or anything online? If you're able to message, I'm kind of curious who you think is going to make it into the final round. But yeah, we're starting to turn some really quick times, and the race is starting to get really close. While I'm on here, I just need to do a couple of special thanks. Special thanks to Cletus, Brandon, who's been talking to you guys for getting us to hook up with his computer so that we can make sure that we're able to do this live stream. Also, special thanks to Ryan, or the Rubik's pilot, who's racing right now, for doing a fantastic job as always commentating with Brandon. And hopefully you guys got some interviews with some other people, and you guys are enjoying the show. But we are probably about 30 minutes from finding out who is going to be our champion. Pretty impressive that Renegade knocked out Wags in that round 3 race. So that was pretty exciting. All right, looks like we got some people hoping for Rubik's to make it. He's been on the ball today, but Luke has also been pretty strong. But we know one thing, guys. We are going to be we are going to have a new 2021 champion, as Wags was our 2020 champion. He got knocked out by Matt. So we will have a 2021 champion who is going to be going to Jacksonville, Florida, representing us at Three Rivers Karting and representing Pittsburgh in September at Jacksonville to race for $10,000. So whoever wins tonight and Wags, who is our 2020 champion, will both be going down there representing us. So if you're watching here, I believe they're going to do some live streaming in September at the World Championship. So that's going to be exciting, and hopefully we can get one of our locals to bring home that money and you know, make us proud here in Pittsburgh. So hope everybody's enjoying the show. I'm going to pass it back off to, well, I was going to pass it back off to Brandon, but he's walking away. So it sounds like we're going to go to a quick commercial here, and then while I check to make sure the carts are ready to go, and we're going right back to racing. All right, guys, our friends at Overdrive Indoor Karting in Colorado Springs, they think they're cute by doing these trick shots. So, you know, James, I see you, buddy. That beautiful, magnificent, blonde, perfectly manicured hair of yours. We're going to challenge you to a trick shot little battle. So, do you accept our challenge? Who wants to go first?
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Brandon down at Three Rivers Karting. We're getting down to the end of the playoffs here. We're final four out on the track right now. It's going to be Rubik's versus special guest up here in the booth with me, worker from Three Rivers Karting, Mike. Mike, how's it going, man? I heard you're a jack of all trades down here. You do a little bit of everything, flagging, whatever Daryl needs.
Oh yeah, I've been running this show pretty much since April here. At least that's how it feels. Today's been running pretty smoothly. We haven't really run into many issues. Definitely a little bit behind, which we didn't really want to be, but I think everything's going great so far. We got my one coworker and friend Nate down there working the flags currently while I'm taking a short break up here with you guys. So
yeah, it's a well-deserved break, I might add. You've been doing everything. I see Daryl just walking around with his hands in his pocket all night.
Yeah, he's been doing all right, and I feel I've been doing the same. I mean, I definitely felt like I put out a lot of help out here tonight, and I hope I made everything a little bit more enjoyable for everybody out here. Get the races going quickly and make sure everything's running smooth, honestly.
No, you did a good job. I know we were a little bit later starting than we would have liked, but things have been moving along really well. So
yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
You've done a great job.
Thank you.
We're watching the Final Four here. What are your thoughts? I know you've seen a lot of these guys race in the leagues. If you were going to bet, would these be the four guys you had at the end, or you think we've seen some upsets along the way?
I definitely think we've seen some upsets. I tell you what, I was here yesterday, last night, and I know Luke was here for maybe about 4 hours. And he was telling me, he was like, I think I have a really good shot. And I was telling him he was looking amazing out on the track because, and honestly, it proves it here tonight. He's one of the final four. Also, even today, early today before the races got started, Renegade was out here. And I was asking him, I was like, wow, you're out here really early, huh? He's like, I might have to beat Wags, which he did. So that practice definitely paid off for him.
Yeah, that's the one that definitely got my attention, the defending champion Wags going out. I mean,
yeah, that was
Renegade won the league, so I guess you really can't say it was an upset.
Yeah, that's true. What are your bets on for who do you think's going to win tonight?
Oh, man, I don't know. I've had my eye on Rubik's all night long. I think he's been sneakily good. I know he did very good in the league this year. It seems like he's putting down some good times. I'll go over to the board here and take a look at the lap times and update the viewers. But what about you? Who are you liking?
I totally agree. I think as long as the Rubik's pilot can keep his stuff going and just keep that steady lead, I think he has a really good shot at winning it all. My second bet would probably be Luke. I think Rat Miata definitely, he did really good tonight. Unfortunately, I do think he probably will be eliminated here. Once again, though, like I did say, I think he did amazing tonight. Definitely had a few upsets, and honestly, his race is so good. I'm surprised he actually made it here in the first place. But
the matchup between Renegade and Rubik's is unbelievable. Renegade's best time is 17.242. Rubik's is 17.243. And the average, Rubik's is 17.32, and Renegade is 17.34. So that's going to come down to the wire. They're getting ready to throw the white flag.
Oh, definitely. It's going to be in the thousands, I bet.
And Rat Miata and Luke is close too. Rat Miata's at 17.327. Luke is at 17.343. So white flag is out. We're coming down to the end. This is anyone's game here.
Yeah, totally. Rat Miata definitely with the best lap time, I think, of the night almost. With a 17.195. That's really good for him. That's honestly close to a track record, I do believe. So
yeah,
we'll see what the results show here in just a few minutes.
Got the checker flag wave, and we'll just wait for the update. Hopefully Darryl don't take it off too fast. Of course he did. We'll go down here in a minute and get the official results, but it looked like from what we could see that Rubik's is going to advance, and I think Luke, but we'll verify that in here in a minute. But yeah, like you were saying, it's been a good night. I mean, the race has all been close. You know, one thing that's impressive too is a lot of these guys. There's a good, the good fellowship here. It seems like they all get along and they're all good friends. Sometimes in competitive sports, it's you play football, you don't see, you're not really friends with the other team. So that's one thing that's impressed me. That all these league guys, they seem to be a real tight knit group.
I definitely agree on that. I know everybody here. It's honestly almost like a family, to be honest. Everyone knows each other and everyone gets along here, and
even whenever like someone else loses or someone gets kicked out, everyone's cool about it. And that's definitely what I like working about this place, is that everyone here that comes here is definitely so great. So.
Now let me ask you this: if you have any inkling of racing in the league in your future, I mean, you work here, you know the track, so I think you'd be a good fit.
Possibly. I almost, before I started working here, I thought about joining Summer League and maybe this tournament here. Unfortunately, I didn't. I ended up getting the job here back in April. So that's what I've been doing for right now. I think I'm a decent racer personally. I do not think I would make it to the Final Four. I think some of these guys are way, way better than me.
Yeah.
I think I could possibly make it past the first round. Maybe that's about it, though.
That's the way I feel, man.
Yeah.
Daryl tells me to join. I'm like, there ain't no way I'd make a fool out of myself. But I know that these guys all seem great, and they seem willing to help. So, like I said, that's pretty awesome. So, we're going to throw to a break. I want to thank you for joining us, and you're doing an outstanding job. Keep up the good work, and thanks for joining me.
All right. Yep. No problem.
All right. We'll be right back.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the American E-Kart Championship. You are looking at your two finalists out on the track. One of these gentlemen out on the track is going to have a trip to Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, to compete for $10,000. We will wait until this first lap goes out. We have chosen carts number 18 and cart number 1. Currently, Renegade Matt is in cart number 18, recording with his GoPro and with the motocross helmet on. Green flag is out on the front straight. We are waiting still for the first lap as Luke goes across the finish line now with a 17.314 to start out this final race. Let's see what Matt can pull out. He pulls out a 17.733. Quite a few tenths off of Luke, but once again, he is in cart 18. Luke with a 17.293. He is really picking up the pace now. 3 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in this final race. 17.646. Renegade is not answering Luke's answers there. His questions there on what his pace is. 17.35. An average of a 17.319. Renegade with a 17.689. The gap is 0.3 of a second between their best laps. And let's see, 17.534 with Renegade going through turn 1 right now, hugging that turn 1 as close as possible. Luke on across the finish line now, cannot improve on his best lap time with a 17.326. 2 minutes, 44 seconds remaining in this race. We have an average lap time deficit of 0.3 of a second between the two of them. Renegade is really going to have to try to pick up the pace in that dreaded cart 18. And Luke gets a 17.351 with 2 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in this race. A 17.3514 Luke just before. Let's see what he can get now. It's going to be a 17.4. He is not improving on his best lap time. However, it is still faster than what Renegade can actually pull out. He is not controlling cart 18 like he really wants to. And now he gets a 17.448. Still not fast enough to try and compete against Luke. It's 2 minutes remaining in this last race here. 17.368 against a 17.448. And there goes Renegade across the finish line, 17.495. And then we have 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining. 17.289 gets a new fastest lap from Luke, and he improves on his average lap time down to a 17.34. One of the fastest lap times we have seen tonight. Renegade once again does not improve at the 17.55. 1/10 of a second separates their fastest lap times, but once again, always about that average lap time. 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining now. Just a few laps for these competitors. Once again, one of these people are going to Jacksonville to compete for that $10,000 grand prize. 17.290, very, very consistent from Luke. Once again, bringing down that average lap time ever so slightly down, trying to edge out Renegade with a 17.553 now on his average lap time. 2.22 seconds separates their average lap time as there is only 45 seconds remaining in this race. 17.325 from Luke. Luke is still trying to gain those extra few tenths. I can just imagine the heart rate on these racers are really flying through the roof. Renegade with a 17.436 now, improving on his previous best lap time, but Luke is still trying to get his average down as low as possible because, of course, they are going to switch out carts. This race is still not over, even though there is only 20 seconds remaining now, and they should be on their final laps now. This is the final lap with only 12 seconds remaining. 17.289 is the fastest lap time with the 17.334 now. And this should be a checkered flag because he will not get a second lap in. And Luke does not finish his lap. And that is your final results with a 17.334. Renegade with a 17.537 without counting for those bad laps. Unfortunately, they did not know about the checkered flag in the final results. So we will have to see what Luke can do, if he can keep his lead or if Renegade can get it back. We will be right back with action. Do not go anywhere. We will take a few minutes to charge up these carts and we will be right back.
right, guys, our friends at Overdrive Indoor Karting in Colorado Springs, they think they're cute by doing these trick shots. So, you know, James, I see you, buddy. That beautiful, magnificent, blonde, perfectly manicured hair of yours. We're going to challenge you to a trick shot little battle. So, do you accept our challenge? Who wants to go first?
All right, everybody, welcome to the final race of the night. This is the race that will determine who will go to Jacksonville, Florida, once again to compete for $10,000. We are now waiting for the first lap to finish here. And now they have swapped carts. So Luke's secret weapon was to choose cart 18. By the way, current track temperature is 86 degrees at the hairpin and 83 degrees at the first corner. So now we are waiting for the first lap, and it is going to be Renegade with a 17.424. That is going to be our benchmark lap right now as Luke goes across the line and sets a 17.682. That's the 2/10 that Renegade's really looking for. He needs to keep this up. He needs to keep setting these faster lap times, maybe even set a track record if he really wants to go to Jacksonville. 17.380 for Renegade and only a 5.98 from Luke. So once again, there is that 2/10 difference in their averages that they need to try and, that Luke needs to try and bring down so that he can book a flight all the way down to Florida. 17.289 for Renegade, as Luke only answers with a 17.585. So it's the exact same story where Renegade and cart number 1 can go faster than Luke. It's just how much faster can he go. He did set a 4.62 this past lap, so it's not quite as good as what he has been doing the past couple of laps. That might be a throwaway lap for him, as Luke actually sets a 17.514, which is 0.05 of a second behind Renegade, who just set the fastest lap of this current race at a 17.282. With 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in this race, Luke only answers with a 17.605. There's still 0.2 of a second between them. Renegade can still pull this off. It is not set in stone yet if he will win or he will lose. There's only 2 minutes remaining on who will win the big check here at Three Rivers Karting, as Luke tries to control the deficit, setting a 17.452, but Renegade will answer with a 17.270. 7 laps into this race, as Luke sets a 17.480. He is quite consistent, and he is now trying to bring that down within the 0.2 of a second barrier that he needs to. Renegade once again setting a 17.28, which is very, very close to his best time of a 17.27. Luke sets an almost identical lap time to his best, only 0.06 of a second off, 17.452. Renegade with a 17.270, but his last lap was only a 3.34. Let's see what Luke can answer with. He's going to answer with a 17.490. Still 0.2 of a second between them. Still anybody's race, and it's going to come down to the average 2 laps of the average of the 2 carts after this. 1 minute remaining in this American E-Kart Championship here at Three Rivers Karting in Leetsdale, Pennsylvania. 52 seconds remaining, still 0.2 of a second between them. It is still very, very close. The Kart 18 strat might have worked for Luke, it might have not. 17.242 now for Renegade, fastest lap of this race. 39 seconds remaining. Luke almost beats his best average lap time of a 17.442 with a 17.454. Renegade sets a 17.389, just a little bit off of his best time of a 2.42. 24 seconds remaining. The white flag should be coming out any time now with a 17.353 from Luke. What a hero lap in Kart 18. He really, really needed that. The white flag is now out, and Renegade is going to go on to his final lap now. Luke is now going on to his final lap with a 17.5. He did not answer with a 17.3 as he really needed to. Still less than 0.2 of a second between them, and Matt does not get his final lap in. 17.383 was his last lap, and now it is all down to the math. There is 0.2 of a second between them almost, and that is exactly what Renegade needed. We will have to see exactly down to the wire who is actually going to win here at Three Rivers Karting. Stay tuned as we will find out very, very shortly.
All right, guys. Hopefully, anybody who's watching online can hear me. But we had a hell of a race between Luke and Matt here. So before we do anything, I think we should give them a round of applause. Making it all the way in here. So right now, I'm going to announce the winner who's going to take home $300 to use for a trip to Jacksonville, Florida here in September to represent Three Rivers Karting in Pittsburgh, in Jacksonville for $10,000 race by 0.006 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Probably the closest finish we've ever had. Your champion, representing Three Rivers Karting, going to Jacksonville, racing for $10,000, is Luke. Great job, guys.
Was that card 18, baby?
Card 18. All right, let's see if I can get a word real quick. Luke, how you feeling, buddy? You exhausted?
I'm never doubting card 18 in my life again. I'm going to marry it, take it home, give a nice kiss.
So if anybody is wondering, Luke's worst cart here that he despises, even though I convinced him that it's not, is cart 18. He doesn't like it, but he used it as his clutch today to pull off the victory with Matt, and it seemed like it worked out, huh?
Yes, it did. And I want to give a shout out to Matt. I mean, that's a hell of a race. 6,000ths of a second. I mean, that's nothing.
It's insane.
Yeah. So it's a crazy race. I'm shaking. Hell of a moment.
Congratulations. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. That's our 2021 season champion right there. Our fall league will be starting up here in September. So if you want to get in on this, start joining our leagues. We run 3 a year, fall, winter, and summer, and you guys can join, and you can do the same thing that we're doing here. Thanks for watching.